Well, we're getting real close to getting ready to put our lid on so that we can start doing our cockpit and our combing, but we got some house cleaning stuff that we got to do first. Just kind of little piddly stuff. But it's all got to be done now because it's much easier to get it done now than it is later, and some of it just has to be done now. These, I warned you these were coming, these are just little breast hooks. And essentially, you know, when we're stripping these things up on the strong back, it would be very, very difficult to make these come in and meet together. I've done it here before, and I found it to not be worth the effort. So, you know, we cut these back a little bit, right? We had cut these back just a little bit from the forms, and that's going to leave a gap up here that we need to fill, because when we put our deck on, we want something, you know, nice and solid in the front and in the back that our deck's going to hit. And in the back, if we're going to have a rudder, we certainly need something underneath there so that we can attach our rudder to it. So I've been going back and forth and debating, you know, how much I need to show you here, and there really isn't that much to show you. I mean, effectively, all I did is I took a piece of wood, put it right over the top, traced underneath, which gave me my rough shape, and then I put angles and rounded all this over so that it fits down in there nicely. And you can see from this that, you know, it's still a little high and lippy up here, and that's all good. You don't want it to sink all the way down in because we've still got a little bit of an angle here. So what we're going to do is we're going to just take some thickened epoxy, put it all around here, drop this back in, and then once that's nice and set, we'll come back with probably a sander and maybe a rasp and take all this down and make this a nice rounded tip on the boat. And again, the same thing with the back. I did all of this on a stationary benchtop sander, which makes it pretty easy. You know, you're not looking for perfection here. It's not fine joinery. Nobody's ever going to see it again. So you just want a nice snug fit, and the epoxy will take care of the rest. So what else do we need to do? So we have our bulkheads in. So all we have really left to do here is I need to put some tape along the inside of the bulkhead here, and all this needs to be sealed with clear epoxy. I choose not to put tape on the outside. I always choose not to put tape on the side that's in the cockpit, just because it's troublesome to get it to look perfect, and it's not really necessary. This is being held into place by the thickened epoxy already. I'm just going to give it a little bit more strength by putting tape in the back. It's really unnecessary to put tape on the front side of this or on the front side of that one either. So we're going to tape that, and we're going to put some clear epoxy on it. Up here you can see the base of our foot braces are in, and we're going to do a fillet here and smooth all this out and feather the bottom edges in so that we can put our cloth on top, and you've already seen how we're going to do that. And that's going to be just about it. So at that point, it's easier to take some clear epoxy on a brush, just cheap chip brush, and go around and seal the underside of all your wood that hasn't been sealed yet, because once you put the deck on, it just becomes more difficult to do a neat job on that. So we're going to go around with some clear epoxy all underneath the shear clamp and make sure that's done. Any places which, after we've finished sanding all of the inner stems, make sure all that's sealed up nice and tight. Make sure underneath the breast hooks are sealed up nice and tight. So, you know, if water gets in there, we're not having any problems down the road. Okay, so I'm going to mix up some thickened epoxy. We're going to start doing all these little tidbits, and then the next thing we'll be doing is putting the deck on top.